not only adult people, but of course kids. Yesterday I presented my presentation about swimming for people with visual impairment. So, and then I noticed that I have to be a chair lady at this nice fort. Okay, so this morning I turned on the computer. Of course, at the very beginning I saw what is this for tennis for people with physical disability. And it was interesting, and I know that this sport starts at 1976, and the first Paralympic Games was in 1992 in Barcelona.
Yes.
So, and it was interesting to see how people with disability, how they can play this wonderful game, game. And I think that these people who are perfect in wheelchairs, in nice wheelchairs.
Yeah, they are nice.
Of course, you will explain about these wheelchairs.
Yep.
And with one hand to ride with other hand. It's not easy, and how fast they have turned to that right, to turn on right or someone. It was very interesting for me, and I think it will be interesting for you, notwithstanding that I have been working with swimmers, but maybe one day we will work. And this will, maybe you will work with this people and in this sport. So, please, ladies.
Yep. Okay. So, well, my name's. I'm Louise. I've worked at the university for the last 19 years, and this is Sue. And Sue and I go back a long way. And my principal role at the university is coach education manager. I used to be in charge of tennis, and a bit similar to your story, about 10 years ago, someone walked in, one of the students wanted to play wheelchair tennis, asked if we did wheelchair tennis. I asked him if he'd got wheelchair. He said yes, so I said, right, we do wheelchair tennis. I'll see you tomorrow and we'll have a hit. And that's kind of how I got involved in disability sport. We'd had quite a few children with a few visual impairments, a few learning disabilities on our actual mainstream junior programme, but there was no really, back then there was nothing adaptable, no equipment, anything like that. And then because I've known Sue, Sue will introduce herself in a minute, we then formed a company called Louise Sports. So the Louise Sports is all about teaching coaches and teachers on how to work with children with disabilities, and we've created a load of adaptable products. And basically we're going to split today into kind of thirds. The first third is all going to be about fundamentals, using the Louise equipment, going through sort of fun, friendship, how we do a lot of storytelling, and how we make games come to life through stories and play. And actually we're doing quite a lot of fundamental movements. And then we're going to focus on visually impaired, because I'm the GB visually impaired tennis coach. So I go around the country teaching kids, adults and coaches. And then we'll also look a little bit on the wheelchair tennis, because again I used to coach some of the GB players at wheelchair tennis. So, this is your workshop. So throughout the workshop, any areas you want us to go down, we'll go down. Okay? Sue, very brief, because Sue likes to go on.
I'm excited for you to have fun. Lou's really covered it. I've been working in an SEN school for over 15 years, and over those 15 years I've just started creating equipment to make my lesson plans easy. So I was the same as yourself and Lou. I had a boy with cerebral palsy. I had to teach him all the sports. I had to make him inclusive in all my PE lessons. So that's where the two heads came together and we started creating equipment. So Matthew was able to join in any of the sports. So what you'll see today with the Lusu equipment, some of it you may have seen before, and with yourself in climbing, you think, oh, you know what, I could use that to get them to reach up here. How am I going to get somebody that's been in a chair with very little movement? So today is all about taking ideas, sharing ideas, and enjoy.
Yeah. So, I'm going to move you.
Possible to try?
No, you're all doing because.
You're looking.
I'm not a French available.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. You can see what. Just
Is there any sort of movement you can do, or a little bit, or you?
Yeah.
Look, feel free.
Yeah. Well, there's a chair if you want to bring the chair down.
I'll help you throw a scarf or.
The reason we're doing it is the children were supposed to be here first week of term. Children with disabilities, it normally does happen. You can have a group all planned, and then all of a sudden someone's got a cold, something. There was transport issues. So yourselves are going to take part. So that's absolutely fine. So come round here. We're going to get you doing more than anything else. Have you guys heard of STEPS through your coaching? Yeah, so STEPS is basically the way that we work with a lot of coaches and teachers. So S is for space, T is for task, E for equipment, P for people, and then S, sometimes we do it around speed, so speed of the task, speed of the drill, or sometimes we talk about safety. On the way out, there's a handout that I developed for the Tennis Foundation, and I used some of our lecturers at the university adapted their model on how I work with anyone, but primarily with kids with disabilities, so grab one of those. So I'm going to start off. Have you guys used any of these cards before? So do you want to explain?
So the school are working, they're called PET cards. Okay, so the cards are mainly for students that have got autism. They need to know what's going on in their day. So in the class, what's going on in the morning, what's going on in the afternoon. In sport, we started using more of these. So when they arrive, they know that today we're going to be looking at some balloon work and coordination, moving on to a ball and racket or ball and tap in hand. So, this is quite a good thing to have. Very quick, quick pictures. So I would definitely recommend that if you're working with children with autism.
So, first thing you need to do, grab yourself a balloon, then find yourself a space. So there's loads of balloons around. Anyone allergic to balloons? No? Cool. So, grab a balloon.
A balloon, a big one, a small one. Yeah. Sorry, we didn't introduce. I'm Barbara. Hi, Barbara.
Here you go.
Okay.
Okay, so some of you will hear that the balloon make a noise. Yeah, so everything we do is around colour, especially with any of the children. So first thing I do is, if I'm going into a venue, I have a look at what the surroundings are. Now I have to wear black because of my uniform, but that's the reason why we're bright orange, so that there's always the contrast. We always make sure the equipment is really nice and bright. We try and make things as audible as we can as well. So inside of these, there's either dried peas, sunflower seeds, couscous, rice, and basically now it's an audible thing. If there's someone who's completely blind, then I'd tie a little bit of string on it, tie the string around the hand, and they can be doing exactly the same activity. Okay, so all we're going to start off on your own, just moving the balloon around. If you can, keep it up in the air with your arms, so it's above your head. Okay, stop there. Anyone notice anything with us working up here? Good. Okay, so first thing you're taking out vision, so you can't see everything's up there. Anything else? Can anyone feel anything with their arms? Yeah, working hard. So a lot of the time we do activity here, and we actually forget up here. And actually, if you're working up here, you start working. So the reason I've started doing quite a lot of that is I was working with a mum who their son, they couldn't put a jumper on them because the son hadn't got the strength to lift their arms up to put the jumper on. So we did lots of work up here to then slowly entice, and then eventually they could put both hands up, which then meant it dead easy for mum to get change the child. So again, a lot of the activities we use, there's a purpose behind it. Okay, so all you're going to do now is just change whether you're going to use your foot, your head, your knee, any part of your body. Okay. Good. Okay, find yourself a friend. And put one balloon to one side. Sorry, I'm Louise. Oh. And all you're going to do now, put one balloon to one side, and you're just going to see if you can keep the other balloon going. So you're going to pat the balloon to each other. Okay? Off you go. So I didn't ask, what's your name, sorry?
Sorry,
Hiya. Hiya. So what's your sport? Or?
I work with partnerships, so I multi-sports, but I work for Special Olympics.
All right, cool.
Disability officers.
All right, brilliant. Cool. Yeah. Well, we do a lot of work with Special Olympics and MATP, so we go around the country working with them.
Sorry, wait, you threw this balloon out to the way.
Oh, because it's many of this inside, and the sound is not the same. Because sometimes it's better be sound.
That's right. And also, Louise was talking on the VI as well, but we've got something that's a little one, so of course it's quite everybody's got goals. So off you go, you're in up in the car now, you're on goals, you're nice time. Okay, here we go. High five as many. Off you go.
Good, good. Okay, right, stop there. Put your balloons to one side, we'll bring those out again. And you now need to get yourself a nice scarf. So choose a scarf. Yeah, a scarf each. Oh, he's gone for the yellow.
Oh, that's my favourite.
Perfect. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have used these, but for me, I'm liking it.
Oh, it looks good.
For me, everyone should have these. Okay, so all you're going to do to start off with, you're going to scrunch it away, and then you're going to throw it up in the air, and you're going to try and catch it. Okay, you can either catch it with two hands, one hand, whichever. Okay, so just scrunch, chuck it up, and catch. Good.
Do you have these in your equipment bags? Oh, these are our essential.
Yeah.
Sorry, you don't.
I will.
Yeah. So nice for, like Louise is saying, catching the speed of them.
Okay, so how else can we use these? So I've just given you one simple one. What else can you do?
Pass it between.
Good, brilliant. Right to left, left to right. Because it flies nice and slowly in the air, it gives the children the time. And bright colours they love. Okay.
It's like this.
Good, yeah. Starting to add some stuff. Good.
One of the ones we use in the school, because of the fabric and the colours again, they love to put this over their face. So they love to look through, and then they love to do this.
We're trying to get it up.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm liking that.
This exercise is perfect for swimming.
Yeah, with the blowing.
Blowing there.
And there's loads of things you can do.
Alex.
So you can have little races. So everyone can line up on this line, and you've got to go to that line, but you've got to blow it. So, and then you go as far as you can, and then blow it.
By the way, we do wash them.
Yeah. Yeah. So off you go.
Not that I'm competitive.
Good, good. Oh, yay! We have a winner. Okay, other things that you can do. If you stand on this line, pop this on your tummy. So again, you're teaching the children where different things are. So on the tummy, and you're now going to try and run to the other line without it falling off. Whee! Okay, so that's another one.
What's also really nice, you work outside like a kite or a butterfly again, what Louise was saying, bringing in the story. So the school is catch the butterfly, so they're teaching them soft hands. So there's all different, you should see it flying when it's outside.
So get yourself a space again, and this time you're going to work with a partner, so I'm going to show you with Dan. And all that's going to happen is I'm going to start here, but I'm going to go from knees to trees and throw it up, and Dan's going to then catch it. And then he's going to go knees to trees, and then I'm going to catch it. And by going knees to trees, we're introducing the underarm throw without them realising. So they've got a reference of the knee, and most children understand that trees are up in the air. Or we could go knees to sky, but we go knees to trees, and it gets the underarm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so find yourself a partner again. Sue, do you want to work with Jill? I'll work with Dan. You ready? Knees to trees.
Say it as well.
Yeah.
Knees to trees.
Cool. And do both hands, right hand, left hand. Good. And then start getting a little bit competitive, move the person a little bit. Knees to trees. Cool. Knees to trees. Knees to trees. Okay, this time, when you collect it, you're going to go knees to trees and then shout out a body part. So it could be knees to trees and then head. You've got to catch it with your head. Okay?
Knees to trees, knee.
Ooh, nearly. Knees to trees, toe. Good.
Knees to trees, left hand.
Oh, got me. Knees to trees, back. Oh!
Knees to trees, shoulder.
Oh, never.
Sorry, never.
I'm going to go knees to trees, shoulder. Oh! Okay, right. If you pop the butterflies. Oh, yep, you can. Tiger tails.
Okay, would you like to just do one of those? Your partner?
Oh, pants. I like this at this. Oh, missed it. Okay, stop! Because I'm never going to get it. Okay, pop the butterflies now. And now welcome to our flying fish. So, if you'd like to help yourself to a flying fish, need one each.
Can I just ask, are we allowed to
Yep.
put handouts for these sessions?
No, but we'll give you our website and then we can keep in touch and so. Okay, so flying fish. Basically, it's a fluff ball inside one of the scarves and a scarf on side. What you're going to do, any throw, catch combination you want. Okay, off you go, just spread out. Just play around with it. Good, good, got some twirls. Yeah. Good, good. Good, good. I'll just move these out of your feet. Okay, so one of the big reasons I use this, and I use it a lot now with the children with visually impaired, is when you're sending and receiving balls, you get one chance to catch it, which is the ball. With these, if you send and receive, whether it's underarm, overarm, if I miss the first point, that first reference, I've got all of this to get. And with children, a lot of the time it's about success. And then eventually you take away this one, and then they've got that, and eventually you go down to the ball. So for me, this slows it down in the air, and it gives so many opportunities to grab hold of it. I'm visually impaired, I've been blind in my left eye, so I can't judge distance, and that's the one thing that really annoys me, is when a ball comes to me, if I don't hit it or catch it, I've lost it, whereas with these, I can just grab on, so it is really, really good. So what you're going to do, find yourself a partner, and you're just going to play, you can get rid of one of them, and then you're just going to do throw and catch, and just come up with underarm, overarm, that type of stuff, and then we'll bring in another exercise.
Sorry, can I just show you this? What would you do if you invite them? Maybe give them a hula hoop, yeah, or a line. Okay, so straight away, I've got your attention. I'd like you to stand on a hot spot or a tree spot. Everybody find yourself a spot. Just going to go immediately to the target. Right, are you ready? So hold the ball in your fingers nice and light. Start at the eye, go up to the sky, and then come down and non-dominant hand. Okay, we ready? Eye to sky. 3, 2, 1, fire! That's it. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. Brilliant. Some of you might find that the children, well, in the school I'm working in, not realise what we're doing.
cars are probably starting at Main Street, almost the top of it, essentially, to cars. We've had quite a lot of reactions to reading and machine
Anybody need a drink? Please feel free to have a drink. Working quite hard seems to... Any questions? Has anybody got any questions?
While?
Okay. Just put them on top of your head for now. I can see them like. Yeah? Right, so we're going to go way back to the spot. Yeah, I'm going to... we did a session yesterday on so you've got
Instead of soon organising, as you're adults, I want you to get yourself into a space, right? You can only do it by communicating, because don't take the glasses on and off, keep it that side. Some of you have got close with others, so you need to be aware of that. Try and work out and have conversations whilst you're doing the activities, what your partner can see, what they can't see, and then start working out how you can help them. All you're going to do to start off is find a space, and you're going to pass the ball along the floor. You can either kick it with your feet, or you can roll it with your hands. Okay? There you go. Find yourself a space with your partner.
Yeah. Alex, take your glasses off. Okay, stop there. Just stay where you are. Just pop your glasses up. So these two were rolling the ball, kicking, rolling, that type. These two were sat facing each other, legs apart, rolling. A lot of girls do this. Especially if they're sort of 8 and under, they tend to go down to this position quite a lot with rolling, especially if they're classified as B1, which is blind. Okay, they prefer to go down, get the feel, and then they come up. And then you two would challenge each other straight away. Okay, anything that you had to work with your partner because you kind of worked out what they needed. Didn't?
To me, like converse said what you feel comfortable with, so I can really see no peripheral vision, but aim for this left hand side.
Yeah.
So it took everything like that. Obviously, then it meant that he over the shoulder, probably just hit his chest as a blockage.
Yeah. Okay, so you're allowing it to hit your body and then come off if you made a mistake. Anyone else? Did you notice what you were doing? Yeah. Yeah. So what Jill did, I don't know if she realised, but she went straight away with the head back quite a bit. So she pulled her head a bit, she could see more vision. So again, when I work with kids especially, well adults especially, but I do notice it in kids, how they hold their head and how they position their body is giving me some clues as to what vision they can use. Because if they are always this way, then I know that this eye is better than this eye. And I tend to try and work, I challenge a lot, so all the stuff that we've been doing, I try and make things audible but then challenge them with it, and I try and work on the non-good eye as well as the better eye, because for me they need to work on both. For me, the vital things with anything to do with VI sport is movement and tracking a ball. So tracking balloons, tracking the flying fish is ideal. Tracking these bigger goal balls because they make bigger sounds, the bigger balls, getting them movement in different ways. And then for tennis, we'll bring these out. These are the sound balls that we use for tennis. So basically, it's that golf ball with ball bearings inside a sponge ball, and this is the ball they use for blind tennis or visually impaired. So all you're going to do now is we're just going to make it a little bit more realistic and go over the net. So in your pairs, you're going to be one of you on one side of the net, one on the other, and you're just going to be basically throwing the ball over the net to each other. If you are like Stan, okay, so he's blind in one eye, he's allowed the ball to bounce once, okay? If you're someone like Alex, who's got the tunnel vision, he might be allowed to let the ball bounce twice. It might be 3 times, okay? Because again, depending on their classification, depends on how many times the ball's allowed to bounce, okay? So you're going to swap the goal ball for one of these balls, go over the net, and just decide whether you'd like to have 2 bounces, 1 bounce, or even 3 bounces, okay? And then we'll get some rackets out, and then we'll get some wheelchairs out. Cool? If you want to change your glasses, you can. Okay, stop there. One of the things that we do in tennis is a lot of players can't actually see the person on the other side, and they definitely can't see the ball. They'll use the audible. So as you're about to throw, you ask your partner, are they ready? They say yes, and then you say play as you throw the ball. Okay, so every time ready, yes, play, just in the throwing, and then when you get hitting, you only say it when you start the point. Okay, but for now, just to get you used to it, ready, yes, play.
Down. It's approximately slow down. It's just like table tennis.
Oh, right, yeah.
No, this one.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah. And then, good, good. Okay, stop there. Okay, people stop. People with the ball, you're going to be the thrower and the catcher. If you want to hit a catching net, you can. People on Jill's side, you're going to have a racket. And all you're going to do, you're allowed 1, 2, 3 bounces, is you're going to try and hit the ball back to your partner for them to catch it. Okay? Good luck. I did, well with those probably 2. Give yourself 2, but see how you get on.
Okay, ready? Ready? Play.
Good.
Ready?
Okay, still there. So to just bear in mind, if I was working this in a live situation, I've got two players here that haven't got any peripheral vision, but the two players side by side, so the likelihood of them walking into each other is really quite high. So again, part of my thinking process is always about what eye condition and where they are. So if it's adults, they can kind of stop. Kids will just run and bash into each other. So what I may do is, when you both get rackets, is actually extend you over the two nets, so then we've got a lot more space. That's probably the biggest thing I do with VI. Okay, so swap roles and then we'll get both rackets going. So just need to pass the equipment over the net. Okay, stop there. Just as I say, it's going quite quickly. If we've got a player that might be struggling, then what I may do is bring in the tap and swing. Slightly different ball just because I haven't got any Velcro on me, but I'd normally just pop a little bit of Velcro on here, so then it just tacks onto it. But this time, put this on. The ball's positioned for where Dan needs it, so he doesn't need to move. Dan will come to the side and he's going to hit and try and hit this off. Okay, so if you want to pass it back, thank you. So if I have that, Dan comes to the side and he just swings low to high, trees to knees, whoa, and off he hits. And again, depending on, because we all know that when we've got groups of children, different abilities, different learning styles, different things. And again, the children love this because they can work in pairs. One person puts the ball on, the other person is hitting, or they're working in threes and there's a catcher and they come around and pot it and they all change direction. And because the ball is where you want it, they get in the right shape. Okay, so this is another tool. What you're going to do now, we're going to move Dan and Alex, you're going to go on the next court, but you're going to grab a racket, Dan, and you're just going to keep the ball going now. So instead of catching it, just try and get yourselves a little rally, keeping the ball nicely under control. Thank you. Oh, swap you. Cheers. See the ball? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh. Well, funny enough you said that. I was working with an adult actually, and their head was always on one side. And so I said to her, I said, do you realise that your head's to one side? And no one had ever told her that her head was here. But because for years she'd been doing this, she'd got all the muscles, and that was trying to get. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the shot.
what I do is, again, I'm very much about trying to make sure there's a lot of independence. So as long as I know that things have been is safe, I'll let them follow the sound of the ball, because for me they're tracking the ball. So as long as the ball's moving, even the children that are blind, they can follow the tracking of the ball. As long as I know there isn't an obstacle in the way, I'll keep half an eye on them, and then I'll see if they've got the ball, and then they come back. Other ways of getting them back is I'll say, come to the clap. So they've gone right over there, and I'll go, right, Billy, follow the clap, and then they'll come running towards the clap. Occasionally, as they're running that way, a child's running that way, and that's where you've got to make sure that you shout, stop, everyone stops on my command. So that's kind of on the safety. Other things that I tend to do is on the net post, if there's a net winder, I'll put a tennis ball on it, and then that becomes nice and safe. One of the things that we were just chatting about, which again, when we're coaching children, we don't actually think about what happens when they get to adults. But when we're working with children, if one thing Jill was saying is that she's realising that her neck's starting to ache because she's putting her head back so that she can see. And again, as coaches, we've got to make sure that they're long-term, A, in our sport, but secondly in life itself. We've got to be really thinking about that they're not going to get injured, and we're not going to sustain injuries as they get older. So with VI tennis, especially B1, so the blind tennis, we're getting 6-foot guys playing the sport, which is on a small court with 3 bounces, and they're doing this, and they're getting really bad backs. And if they've been nice and low as a child, and how to track the ball and move down, then as they get older, they're not doing any of this and having the bad backs and all the issues. So again, what I'm trying to do with coaches is say, if you're working with children, just make sure they're nice and low, they're bending and they're getting low, because when they get to adults, we want to have good technique, and then they're not going to get any issues. Just looking at time, and time's flying. Do you want to have a go in the chairs? Yeah? So if you want to bring your VI, so if you put the sim specs and any balls on here, and probably your rackets. Okay, I'll give you a 30-second tutorial. Have you all been in chairs before or not?
My granddad's been in a chair.
Okay, if you've never been in a chair, on the back there's a tipper. Yeah. So the tipping wheel means I can lean back as much as I want and I won't fall out. My hands start at 12 o'clock and I go down to 2 o'clock and let go. Okay, I can either put my hand on top of the wheel or just on the rim. I tend to kind of come across it because I get more power. Movement wise, you're just going to work it forwards, backwards. You can spin it however you want. Okay, ideally when you get in the chair you want your fingers to the middle, but just jump in a chair that fits. Okay, so jump in a chair and then wheel yourself off. Go and have some fun. So there's lots of chairs. Okay, if you've got someone like Alex who's got an injury, he should be able to still get in the chair and wheel it with his arm over. So you should be able to go one that way, one that way, one that way. Which is a lot harder. Or you can get, on some chairs, you can get like a one wheel. Okay, so what we're going to play onto this blue court, bearing in mind Alex is going to be a bit slower. Okay, so don't crash into him. So all we're going to play is stuck in the mud. I'm going to be on. You're not allowed out of the dark blue. If you get tagged, you have to put your arms like this, and to release you go underneath. Okay, off we go. You're right. So you got to stand there or sit there with your arms. Oh. Sorry, Jill. Hold hands off. Oh, I saw a bit of movement. You're on. Okay, right, so that's one little game you can do. Next one. Can you keep the balloon going whilst you're wheeling? So keep the balloon going up in the air, but you still got to be moving. So you can, so you got to keep him. Here you go. Oh, it's quite heavy, that one. Try that one. Put too much in. Good, good. Okay, grab a racket, and this time instead of tapping it with your hands, you're going to tap with your racket. Tell me if there's anything that is slightly annoying once you got your racket. Okay, so we've got Dan is changing his hands depending on which side of the body it lands. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to tap the balloon in front of you, wheel, tap, see if you can get over onto one of the other courts. So Dan can demo, so tap it, now go forward, now tap it again, good. Okay, off like that, you're trying to get yourself over to there. Good. Okay, Dan, come back.
Yeah, we put that. Okay, you ready? You're going to push it ahead. Put it ahead. Go forward. That's it. Wheel. Good.
Okay, stop there. Wheel yourself with your balloon and your rackets back to me. Good, good. Excellent. Okay, so some of the pitfalls that a lot of coaches go on when they start with working with kids in chairs is they take all the fun out of it, and they just go, they're so worried because the coaches, they're really good coaches at tennis, and then all of a sudden they see a child come on or an adult come on in a chair, and all they do is they're fixated on the chair and they forget everything. And again, for me, my philosophy in coaching is fun and enjoyment as the main one, and then secondly is about movement and tracking a ball. I can teach anyone to hit. The technique's the easy bit. If you can't get the movement and you can't get the tracking. So again, loads of games that I start with the children, it's just fun games, tag, balloons, relay races, trying to see if they can move. So we're not actually playing around with the ball yet. We're taking the net out of it. It's just loads of little movements. And the more the children are better in the chair and they can track things, when they actually get onto the tennis court and start doing the tennis specific skills, that becomes really easy. But a lot of the time, the coaches, they get the child onto the court, they then start hitting, the child can't move to the ball because they haven't been shown how to do it. Success rate is they're whacking the ball all over. They're then just sat there, and then the coach doesn't understand when the child goes home and goes, no, I don't want to go to tennis, it's boring, I'm off to wheelchair basketball. Because at wheelchair basketball they're buzzing around, they're off. And our sport, we've lost so many potential wheelchair tennis players to other sports because we've gone, panic, must sit there, must get them hitting. Oh look, they've missed the ball, child's got bored, they've gone. So for my biggest plea is, regardless of what the disability, make things fun. And say, do this. I'm just mindful of time because it's past. I've got 5 minutes. So it's up to you. Do you want to have a go at hitting the ball over the net? stretch yourself a little bit, no coaching. So all you're going to do, swap the balloon for a ball. We're starting with mini orange balls, they don't bounce very high. They're normally for 9-year-olds. Find yourself a partner, one of you wheel to that side, one of you wheel to this side, and have a go at hitting. Good luck. You're allowed 2 bounces. Okay, have some fun. Play with someone you haven't played with before. Some balls. You got a couple. Alex, I can hit with you if you want. And again, when you're working with wheelchair, just make sure you know that they can get to the other side because the bin isn't in the way. I'll hit with Alex. Alex, have you got a racket? Right, here you go, Alex. Okay, so you're playing left-handed today. Good. Here you go. I like the sideward shuffle to your movement. Oh. Oh, multitasking. So this is all right because I'm hitting the ball to where you want it. But if I'm a child, I'm hitting the ball there, then I might hit it there, which then means you're really struggling. Yeah. So to start off with, we don't tell them any. But yeah, I mean, you normally would have what's called a semi-western grip, and then in wheelchair tennis, when you watch it on the television, the same face they hit to forehand, they use that for a backhand. Okay, so that's your forehand, and then for the backhand you bring the racket over and you hit up like that, which protects the shoulder. Okay. Ah. And Alex?
Keep collecting those balls over there.
Yes. Stretch! Good. Yes, Alex. Oh, what's your sport, Alex?
Mountain bike.
All right. Ah. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. No, you're doing well. Yeah.
Staff uni.
Oh, right, cool.
I've just moved from Lincoln and there's no provision for
Yeah.
so I'm to integrate
Yeah. And take there's a business card as well. So we do quite a lot of work in different universities, like go and do like an inclusive lecture and stuff. So yeah. Yeah, I do. Cool. Okay, stop there. Wheel yourselves in. Here we go.
Okay.
Good. Nice feed, Bobby. You a bit of a...
Hey!
Are you a bit of a player yourself, Bobby?
Come on, you two!
Sorry about that, Bob.
What was that?
You weren't. Cheers, Dan.
Do you want the turtle?
Yeah, go on then, please, if you don't mind. Just those.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah.
Okay, so just kind of a quick sum up with the wheelchair tennis again. I mean, you've literally only spent 10 minutes in a chair. But as I say, a lot of it is loads of fun activity to get the warm-up stuff, and then as soon as they've got their racket, it is about teaching them how to hold the racket and move, because one of the hardest things is having enough room in your hand to hold the racket and the rim of the wheel and move. A lot of children will put the racket on their knees, but actually you don't want that. You want them to hold it. And then again, just really for your own knowledge, is with wheelchair tennis, when you hit a forehand, you're hitting on this side of the strings. For the backhand, what they do is they invert the hand and they use the same side, and they have a high elbow. And the reason they do this is that they can put so much topspin on the ball, and they can really whiz up through the ball. It saves the shoulder, because with a normal, well, with a one-handed backhand like a Federer, they can't generate, so they can't generate any spin. So you use the same hand, high elbow, and you come up, and that power flicking up gives the speed. Other sort of little things that you can do is, you know, in Build the Bear, if you take the voice box out of Build the Bear, you can make things come alive and sound. So I'm just thinking about you with climbing, Dan. A lot of the time when I've worked with climbers, I might say, right, there's a hand, and you just a foot higher than your right hand, and you're basically communicating up. But one thing you could do is they never really know where the top is. But if you got like a Build the Bear with a little sound and going beep beep, then they can hear where the top is, and as they're getting closer, the noise is getting louder. So then they can start understanding how far they are from the top. So that's what we've done, is we've created the cones to come alive, and then they can start working independently.
Again, at the school I'm working at, the rock climber, they do tie these onto you so you can feel the texture, the different textures of the walls. So they have them stuck in the wall.
Okay.
Places, again, rock it, going up. So that's a big one that we do. And again, it's the active.
So, yeah, thank you very much for coming. On the way out, we have got some little business cards, so if you do want to get in touch with us at all about anything, then please do. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. The hands. Yeah. 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 Use paddles. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for calling in.
Pleasure.
Yeah. 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 Yep. Brilliant.
It's been nice to share.
Yeah.
And then,
Just
like I said, we pick your card up, and if there's any questions or
yeah, just get in touch, please do.
get in touch. And then we are on Facebook and Twitter as well. That's also
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your conference. Yeah.
quite a nice texture.
Have you seen this type of stuff before? Yeah. Where did I put my little... You got it?
So to make it audio, we've got little dongles and little ball bearings, so you can actually tie this into this, and then you can make it. Are you ready, Louise? So I've let Louise know. Can you hear that, Louise?
Yeah.
Here we go. It's coming towards you. I'm going to do knees to trees. Did you explain about this?
No, I'll do that in a minute.
Knees to trees, so low to high. It's a little ball ball, it's a ball bearing.
Yeah, when you're working with, and again, especially with visually impaired, I do a lot with a hoop, because we automatically think that children have got a reference. So a lot of the time when we're teaching underarm throwing, it's over a bridge or over a rainbow, same shape as a rainbow. But if a child's never seen a rainbow and they don't understand the thing of a bridge, the easiest thing I do is just get them to feel the top of the hoop. So they guide the hand over the top of the hoop, they feel that that's the trajectory, and then they understand knees to trees is going to give that one. If we're going for an overarm throw, I start off, we talk about eyes to sky. So the reference point is the eye, and then up to the sky with a lot of the children. A lot of the time when I'm teaching it in tennis, I might start with the ear and do the bolt. But with the children, when we're not talking tennis sort of thing, we go eyes to sky, and again, they understand that. And again, with someone who's blind, what I tend to do, we'll put a target up so that they can feel that that's where they're aiming for. So as long as they can feel that that's where they're letting go of the ball, then that's the reference point. It doesn't really matter anything else. We can then work on the distance later on. Okay, so all you're going to do is you're going to work with your, I'm going to pick on Dan just because I couldn't get the tail off him. I'll borrow that one. So Dan, you're going to turn around. So, all I'm going to do is throw my little flying fish over the top of his head, and he's going to try and catch it. Okay, you ready, Dan? Now. Oh. And then he passes it back, and then he has another go. Are you ready? Now. And again, you can get the children, yes, you can get the children to say when they're releasing it, you can do no releasing, they can throw it with an overarm, with an underarm. The children absolutely love this one, okay? So, or you can do it where the Dan's facing, face that way, you turn round, and then as soon as he turns around, I'll throw it. And again, it's working on reaction. But because this is light enough, slow enough, and colour, the children are really successful with it. Okay, so have a go at one of those, or all of them. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, no. Oh.
Turn around. When I shout tree, I'd like you to turn around so it's not going over the head. So they're not mastering that. So are you ready? So I go knees to trees. So the time, that time.
Okay, stop there. this time, instead of catching it with your hands, you're going to have a catching net because you're struggling. Okay, and the children absolutely love having a catching net to try and. Okay. Hey! Yeah.
I will have
Cool.
as long as I can.
Yeah.
I really want to see them.
No. We've got a business card over there if you want to pick one of those and then. Okay, stop there! So, if you want to bring the catching nets in, we're going to change to tap hands, I think. Okay, you're going to keep the flying fish, but just bring in the catching net. So we use the catching net loads. One of the main reasons we got the catching net out was for the children that are, I mean, we can get the chairs out anytime you want to sit in the chair, but the children that were in a chair who might not be able to reach, but they want to take part, get a catching net and then straight away they can scoop, put the balls on and then they're back into it. So I work with a lot of people that kind of chest down really struggle, so they can't reach down. So potentially with a catching net it's very easy. We get these so they're extendable. So again, if we're doing close work, or you just pop on the end and off they go. So just for you to be aware of. And the other reason is if I were to come around and say, right, all the children put the flying fish into the net, they absolutely love coming and putting the flying fish in, and then I've collected my equipment, so it's very easy. Otherwise, your point of reference. Okay, so these are our little friends, the tap hands. Right, and we've kind of done quite a bit of research. For those children that have got a lot of mobility issues with their hands, it just slides in, and I don't think we've had any children that haven't been able to put these on. Okay, straight away, smiley faces, they absolutely love them, lots of noise. We've used them in swimming pools, splashing. So again, we've taken,
Balancing, because of the groove in them.
Yeah. So we've taken these into different environments to try and work in different ways. So this time, sorry, it's Dan, isn't it? Alex, how can I choose the only person that's not called Dan? Right, Alex. Alex is going to throw the flying fish to me, and now I'm in a ready position. I'm going to try and catch it, between my hands. Okay, and then instead of, I'm going to throw it back with my hands. Okay, and then he's going to throw it again. I'm going to try and catch it again, and I might throw it on that side. Or, one more. A little testing me. Yeah, success, just. And then it might go over the head. Okay, so grab yourself a little pair of hands and have a go at.
And being a cricketer, I'm all about catching properly, not like this. Catching your hands properly.
Yeah. Yeah.
The dexterity.
The ones with the holes in as well, yeah.
So depending on the dexterity, it's going to unless there's one foot.
But it's great, isn't it, for keeping your fingers up.
Hey. Yeah. Thank you. So after this, do you want to go on to balloons? Tap it up. Or balloon balls. Okay, just so you're aware, for tennis, by throwing double-handed on either side, it really gets that rotation. So the children start understanding about rotation. Forehand, backhand, it doesn't matter at the minute. Yay.
Have you both had a go? Have you both had
Yeah,
have you seen
yeah.
them? Okay, if you wouldn't mind throwing them in the catching net, the flying fish, flying the net. Fantastic, not flying the net, Dan. Okay, let's move on to the long ball. So actually a balloon ball. I don't think we've seen
Can you tell them they can only go onto court 4? Because the maintenance guys are coming in, but they need to stay on court 4 because we're going to get them hit tennis balls. Is that right?
So again, this extra. So what we're going to do,
Good effort!
so what we're going to do now, similar to what you did, but we're moving on to the ball. So with Jill, you go. So what you're going to do now is catch the ball in between, and then just tap it back. And then, big fan, don't just use one hand. Work on both hands, make position, and then tap it back. Alright?
What about again when we are doing this? Is it to be like this or straight?
Doesn't matter at the minute.
Don't worry about that too much on technique. What you'll find is the ball will start to drop, and then it'll go down to knees and trees. Okay? So, have you got 2? Do it.
Thank you.
Throw it up and then tap it.
We'll do this and then we'll do coconut shy. We'll do this.
Yeah.
Then we'll do coconut shy.
Yeah.
And then we will start with tap and swings.
We'll do some spots just to show them.
Yeah. We have to.
Big bag, if I put it back.
I've got it. Right, if you want to give me your tap hands. So what do you think about the tap hands? Yeah, please. You good? Cheers. Thank you.
I've got many ideas up here. Right, everybody should have one of these. Look at the nodding. Yes, definitely. Yeah, your spots. Now, I work in an SEN school, so what you have to be careful of, if they invite them, what would you do if they invite them? Maybe give them a hula hoop, or a line. Okay, so, straight away, I've got your attention. I'd like you to stand on a hot spot or a tweeny spot. Everybody find yourself a spot.
Am I doing coconut or this one? Coconut?
We'll do the coconut, yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to the...
Put this one on it.
This is our invention as well. This is the tap and swing. This has multiple uses. We're putting a T-ball on foot. I don't think that balance on it, Lou.
Well, we'll see.
That's a new ball.
No.
Louise is trying something new. This game, every child loves playing it. All right?
Rockets.
Because a lot of the SEN children, first thing, what would they do? What would they do if they got a sponge ball?
Yeah, pick it.
Bite and walk out of it. So these are all washable.
Or pick it.
So you can deflate the ball, wash them, they float in the water for swimming. They're not very dangerous. They've got a nice little fan. So, right, what we're going to do is put the coconut shell in your non-dominant hand. Hold the ball like it's an ice cream in an ice cream cone. I'm just going to go knees to trees to the target. Okay, are you ready? We'll all do it together. Knees to trees. Off we go. Oh!
Yay!
You know you have to do 1, 2, 3 when you do it. 1, 2, 3. I did it. I got a chance to do it all the time. All right, so this time, okay, we're just going to go round 1 by 1. All right? So I tap you on the shoulder, you go to the front. It's going to get to you. Nobody wants to do this. Oh, I don't believe it.
Pop that in your pocket and pop that on. So you can
Okay. Nobody. Okay. Now we're going to go on to doing eye to sky. So hold the ball in your fingers nice and light. Start at the eye, go up to the sky, and then come down on your follow through.
Start with non-dominant hand.
Non-dominant hand. Okay, we ready? Eye to sky. 3, 2, 1, fire! Oh!
I did it.
I did! Ain't no stopping us now! We're on the move. Brilliant.
Are we doing rockets?
Oh yes, yeah. So, some of you might find that the children, well, in the school I'm working in, straight away, they're finding I'm not playing this anymore. I'm not doing it anymore. So, let's make it, thank you. If you'd just like to come in a little bit and maybe bring your spot in a little bit, and sit down on the spot. So everybody's joining in now. Okay, if you're in a wheelchair or, okay. So if you'd like to sit down, Louise has put 2 little rockets behind you.
Just for you to be aware of. Working on their arm, the forearm. There's a lot of children who have a lot of communication issues and a lot of mobility, so we will get them to shake. It might be like using it as a rattle. Again, all the material they're all washable. A lot of the children just like the feel of the ribbons on their faces. So again, they really like this type. We also did quite a lot of work with a little boy, and this is the reason why we got this, was because he was in an electric wheelchair, but he was being moved by someone else. So we wanted to do a lot of grip work and strength work so that he could then get his independence. So by the end of playing some of the fun games, he was then able to then start moving his own chair, which then gave him the independence. So for me, it's really important.
Okay, so the aim of the game now is to try and get the rocket to stick on the moon. Talking of the storytelling, Okay, so we're working on the rocket to the moon. So let's do flying rocket. So again, eye to sky. And if you really do this, you'll win a prize. Ready? If you stick it to it. 3, 2, 1, fire! Oh, grab your rocket. Let's have another go. And come in a little bit closer.
Planets.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can come in a little bit if your rocket didn't make it near to the... Dan, you're quite far away. Now, Louise has introduced the planet. So the schools that we work in, if they're really getting this, one of the things with SEN children, if they can't do it straight away, you're losing them. So you need to give them that achievement. So shall we see if we can get it on our planet? All right, so again, eye to sky. You're looking very serious there, Dan. Are you being competitive?
My non-dominant hand.
Okay. Yeah, you. 3, 2, 1, fire. Oh, was that you, Alex? Go on. Yeah. Yeah. We did it. Well done. Okay.
One more go at
You can try it with your dominant hand as well. No, I don't know. Oh, no. Okay. If you wanted to set a challenge and do a scoring system that a lot of the schools really like you doing, you can say, look, you get 5 points for if you hit the planet, 10 points or 50 points if you hit the moon.
The other things that we've also done a lot of work with the schools is they really like active maths and they really like colours and shapes. So obviously planets, you can say you've got to hit the red planets, you've got to hit the blue moon. We do things where we'll put numbers up. So there might be a number on the wall and it might be a red 1, blue 2, I don't know, green 3, and they have to stand and they're throwing the ball at the green 3 or any number that's green, or it might be that they're doing some active maths without them realising, so they're moving, they're getting 2 items, and then they're going to a colour, and then they're going to be aiming at a colour. So they're doing maths whilst they're moving and activity.
Are you all aware of active maths? It's come in for this curriculum, so it's quite big now of like what Lou's saying. And even you could do on your bike, you know, you could cycle and just drop the red on the red. So have a look at active maths. It's really lots to do with shuttle running and they're not realising what they're doing.
These targets. Side, and all they do is just let go, and they've got their achievement. These can be raised. We've also done it where the targets can be placed and hung up, so I do a lot of traffic-light systems. You can get bits of Velcro and just pop the Velcro anywhere, and then these will hang to anything as well as using it.
Tennis nets, tie them on the nets, we use them on the nets, or on a rope going across. Fishing, a washing line, that's a great one, a retractable washing line. This is also part of it, we're just swapping over, because when we're working in the schools, if you've got one of the children who may have autism, they'll come to that straight away and then knock it off. So I'd go and get little Johnny to go and get the ball and then get him to stick it on here. So I'll get this one because he's close. And then all the children like doing, they love to just stick the planet on. So there's another one. So with your ball, with your non-dominant hand, if you wouldn't mind, let's see if we can make the planet move. All right, so when you're ready, let's see how many times we can make. You can do eye to sky, knees to trees. You can do this standing up. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Let's see. Or 1 point to Sue. Or, ooh. Sit in there, Lou. But have you got a ball there, Alex? That's it. Oh, it hit in the post, Alex. That's more. Oh! So that's quite a nice one. Oh! That was a suit. So that's quite nice. That's a great game to just keep going and going. You know, it doesn't come off unless you put it right on the end, and then you can knock it off. So that's the tap and swing. That comes in many, and then you can do some kicking as well. Okay, right, we're going to play a game called Keep the Gate Shut. We're doing the Keep the Gate Shut, Lou.
So I'll take the so legs apart.
This is a great game that you can work on your leg work. So knees apart, nice ready position, nice soft knees. Okay, you coming in, Luke? Nice soft knees. This is called Keep the Gate Shut. This is my game of Keep the Gate Shut. So the aim of the game is to keep the ball from going in between us or through our legs. You can also change the height of the ball, so you'd have to go lower. And Louise is coming in demonstrating. All right, ready? Ready position, soft knees. Oh, looking good. I'm sure you play tennis. Ready? Ready, Alex? Oh. 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 Yeah. Brilliant.
Right, one more go.
What's also quite nice, I'm just going to this is what will happen. Okay? Are you ready? Just hit it back to me. Okay. So I'm ready. Ready position, nice up. They're looking like tennis players, aren't they? They're softening up. Are you ready? Hit it back to me. So this is a classic. So you can use straight away, you put a ball, what's going to happen? Your feet will come into it. But you know what? It really adds into it. We'll do that again because you got very excited. We're like, Dan was there. Are you ready? So you can use hands, head, feet, knees, punch. Are you ready? We did it! So that's a super game with lots of children or in small groups of 5 or 6. So, and some of the games we're showing you might have seen, all right? But there's just different ways to adapt the game. Do you use this one at cricket?
All the games shown so far, we've seen similar versions.
Yeah.
Different. I think ours is probably the mainstream product is how we can adapt the equipment potentially to maybe such good. We've had quite a good reach in terms of reading and reaching kids that more physically unenabled, but it's actually having the equipment then to adapt to more, so it's a better experience for them rather than beanbags and big balls, but there's always more you can do to do it.
And that's what we're finding when we start working with these children. We start adapting equipment and bringing in different to make it so it's all inclusive.
Okay, we're going to move a little bit more. I'm just looking at time. We've probably only got about half an hour, 40 minutes. So, there's some sim specs. Have you ever worn sim specs before? So if you'd like to come and grab okay, so
Do you want this? No.
yeah, grab some of those.
Anybody need a drink? Please feel free to have a drink.
Yeah, we're working you quite.
You're working you quite hard here.
Oh, thank you.
Any questions? Anybody got any questions?
Either, whatever you would like. You will feel a bit strange in them after a little while.
Okay. Just put them on top of your head for now. Yeah. Right, should we make our way back to the spots?
Yeah, I'm going to
We did a session yesterday.
blindfold. Okay, so if you just want to come over here just so you can see, I don't know how many of you have worked where you've got children that are blind, and then they come in, and one of the hardest things that a lot of coaches come to me and talk about is where they've got children that might be blind, but then they've got other children that are visually impaired or partially sighted, and how do I warm up the child that's blind as well as the other children, and I'm really worried about safety, and I don't want to go anywhere near blind and visually impaired because I'm frightened that people are going to get injured. Okay, so I use different bits of equipment. So one of the things that I will do is, again, I'll just think things through. So by having a rope and having these as safety knots, all right, I can have a child running up and down the rope doing forward, sideways, backwards movements. In a minute, Sue is very good at being a child, running using the quoit. Okay. At the same time as that's happening, I can have another child, and normally I've left my pegs. Normally I would put a peg here, so just a household peg, and maybe a peg here, or a big sort of ball of masking tape here, and same over there. So I can have one child using the net to go forwards, sideways, backward movements. They're fully independent. Another child on this side, the only thing that will happen is they might go over their hands. And I've got one working on there, and then if I've got a volunteer or someone else, I can be holding another rope and I've got someone else. So then straight away the children become very independent because they're moving. Okay, does that make sense? So that rope is really, really useful. The other thing I've do a lot with rope, and I got this from a German coach actually, so I can't pinch the idea, is he'll use rope for the children to guide their feet so that they know where they're going onto the station. So again, what might happen is they might have a piece of rope going from the entrance to the side, and the station one is here, and when they get to here they've got an activity, and then there's another piece of rope that's taped to the floor that then goes to another station. And again, it's all about creating independence for the children. Otherwise you're looking at guiding. Have you done work with guiding? Have you guided people before? So whistle, stop, tour.
Whistle, stop, tour.
Okay, so I would ask whether they want to be guided, and
yes, please.
Yes, and then normally I say right or left side. A lot of children and adults, if the cane's in the right side, it normally means they prefer that side. But for this case, Sue's going to say left. Left. Okay, and the way we teach guiding is Sue puts her hand out, and I would say my elbow's in front, and she holds onto the elbow. Okay, and then we start walking. I walk at Sue's pace. Now, because Sue's not used to this, she's walking fairly slowly. Normally they're flying around. Kids, you're normally running after them. Okay, other way of guiding is on the shoulder. So a lot of European countries prefer this way, and again I'm walking, and the person's, if you've got so again, I've had about 6 or 7 children where I'm guiding, so everyone links on. So Sue's here, and then there's someone else. So when we were rushing to get a plane, everyone was basically a link and running. It's the easiest way to get people through. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to pop your glasses on, and we're going to use some other bits. Okay, so you're going to use a big ball. Sorry. So if you haven't got a ball, find a friend who has. Okay, so whilst instead of Sue organising as your adults, I want you to get yourself into a space Alright, you can only do it by communicating, because don't take your glasses on and off, keep with that side. Some of you have got worse vision than others, so you need to be aware of that. Try and work out and have conversations whilst you're doing the activity, what your partner can see, what they can't see, and then start working out how you can help them. All you're going to do to start off with is find a space, and you're going to pass the ball along the floor. You can either kick it with your feet or you can roll it with your hands. Okay, off you go. So find yourself a space with your partner.
Each other.
Alex, take your glasses off.
Have you ever worn any of these specs?
Yeah.
Tried them?
Yeah, the worst ones, are they all...
The pinhole one?
yeah, the pinhole ones.
That's like, imagine that.
We're doing with the adventure analysis day as well. They do them. They use them in the kayaks, and they get the students to obviously, because obviously then they do like a day where they bring kids in from that are visually impaired, and the students then lead them through like an adventure day in kayaks and climbing on the climbing wall and stuff.